Lisa Denae Live starts now, only on Stunner Radio, the heart and soul of the culture.
This show is sponsored in part by Flat Fee Tax Prep and Services, offering quality tax preparation, serving clients nationwide. For more information, visit www.flatfeecreditandtax.com. And don't forget to mention Stunner Radio sent you. Hey, everybody. How are you? It is Friday, May 6th. Can you believe it, you guys? It is May 6th already. I feel like it was just the first, but it is Friday, May 6th, and May is Mental Health Awareness Day. We have a very special guest on the show today. I'm so excited to talk to this young lady. She is amazing, okay? She's a little powerhouse, and I know she got some stuff to say for mental health awareness. So we're going to get started and introduce her in just a moment. But I wanted to say real quick, you guys, before we get started, there's a lot going on. Oh my God, there's so much going on in the world. I hope that everybody stay prayed up. I mean, they're trying to overturn Roe v. Wade. It's so much going on. It's like all of a sudden, hey, thank you for tuning in with us on Facebook. It's like all of a sudden, it's a lot going on, and some of it today just got the best of me, and I was feeling some type of way. But I want to let you guys know that, even though the draft opinion from the Supreme Court was leaked, they're talking about overturning Roe versus Wade. We don't know for sure if that's going to happen, you guys. So don't get in your feelings. We're just going to see what happens. I wanted to share this post from CNN and from Dudley Dailies, where she says, your morality is lacking if all you want is a child to be born, but not a child to be fed or educated or housed. And that's where I'm coming from. Once the children get here, what do we do? Because most of us know in this day and age, it's a lot of children, especially in Houston and in Harris County, in foster care, and some of them are sleeping in office buildings. So what are we doing with the children once they get here? I feel like that's where our attention needs to be most of all. And then, of course, I am also pro-choice. I don't believe that people should get abortions as a form of birth control, but I also don't believe that the government should legislate our rights to what we do with our bodies. If we let them do that, where are they going to stop? They're going to tell us we can only be a certain amount of weight. And I ain't going to go for that, okay? So we have to pay attention to what's going on, people. We can't just worry about the things that we care about. If you don't care about abortion rights, that doesn't mean we should not be, in this discussion, because it's the right to choose. That's what I'm talking about, a woman's right to choose. And, just pray for our leaders, pray for this country. It's so much going on. I also wanted to say RIP to Kevin Samuels. I was not a fan. I'm not going to sit up here and act like I was. I was absolutely not a fan of this man. And I will say that, confidently, I was not a fan of his. But I don't feel like we should celebrate anybody's death. I don't want to celebrate the death of anybody. The thing that hurt my heart the most today was that people were saying his mother found out about his death on social media. And listen, I know how that feels. I don't wish that on my worst enemy. So, shout out to his family. I'm praying for y'all. He was a very well-known person, sometimes for the wrong reasons. But at the same time, I don't want to celebrate in this man's death. The circumstances around his death, though, a little saucy, but we're going to talk about that on tomorrow on Black Coffee with a Side of Tea. Tonight on Lisa Denae Live, we all about inspiration and uplifting, so we're not going to be messy. I say that for tomorrow. So let me just say also, two people this week in the news had some circumstances that they did not count on, okay? One elderly man, this is thanks to CNN, was taken to the morgue in a body bag. Now, I'm going to ask my guest when I introduce her and when she comes on, what do you think of that? That's really crazy. you in a body bag and they take you to the morgue and you waking up like, hey, I ain't dead. And then, of course, we know the comedian Dave Chappelle was attacked on stage. And this unfortunate young man right here got his whole body rearranged. As you can see, his arm looked like it was taken on and taken off and put back on backwards. So, yeah, these two individuals did not have the week that I'm sure they planned on having. But some other people had a really good week. I want to mention them before we introduce our guest. Shout out to our girl, the one and only Megan Thee Stallion, y'all. She got a day in Houston. And I'm just going to say it's about time. You know, it is about time. We love Meg. I don't agree with all her lyrics, but you know, I'm with the hot girl summer. So congratulations to Meg for getting a day in the city that she reps and the city that she's from. Also, congratulations to the Houston Astros coach, Dusty Baker, for winning his 2000th career win. Now, y'all already know I don't care about baseball at all. But Dusty Baker, child, he like somebody daddy. And you know, that's right, just my type. Okay. He fine in my book because I like a man that look like somebody daddy. So anyway, those two people had a really good week repping Houston. Congratulations to them. Now we're getting on to the good part. I am so excited to bring my special guest today, Krisshundria James. And listen, I met her through Facebook, just looking at her information, looking at the things she does with her company. And I was so impressed by her. And I reached out to her and she was kind enough to come on my show before. And I just couldn't wait to catch back up with her. So you guys want to take a really quick break and we'll be right back with my special guest, Krisshundria James. You know, I've been practicing her name all week because I don't like to mess up people's name. So anyway, we'll be right back. Don't y'all go nowhere. Hey, it's your girl Lisa Denae from Stunner Radio. I am so excited about the Loud Radio and Press Junket coming June 4th and 5th to Houston, Texas, baby.
If you're an artist, manager, A&R, publicist, really anyone in the entertainment field, you need to be at this event. Last year was amazing, and I know this year will be even greater.
So hit the link in our bio. Get your tickets today. Now, don't wait to the last minute before it's too late. You gotta be in the building, y'all, and we'll see you there.
Krisshundria James is the CEO and founder of Blossom Up LLC, where she helps teen girls, young ladies, and women blossom up and bloom where they have been planted. Krisshundria connects with women all over the world and helps them to embrace their inner beauty and grow, evolve, and transform into their true selves, seeing themselves from God's perspective. She is a certified spiritual life coach and mental health coach. This amazing woman of God serves as a mental health first aid trainer and certified Christian counselor. Krisshundria is also an international best-selling author and Amazon #1 best-selling author. I am so excited and blessed to welcome to Lisa Denae Live, Krisshundria James.
Hey, lady, how you doing today?
Hey, how are you? I'm good.
Now, I just pray and hope that I said your name right because I said it a million times.
Yes. Krisshundria James. Yes, ma'am.
Oh, thank you, Jesus. I was hoping because I remember that I asked you that before, but at the same time, you know, my memory ain't what it used to be. So, how are you? Welcome to the show.
I'm great. I'm glad to be here. I'm excited. I'm so excited to share my story and inspire others. Man, I have been waiting because we had a good show last time, and I know it's going to be really good this time.
Yes, I am so impressed by you. So tell us about you. How did you get started with your company? What inspired you to start Blossom Up LLC?
Man, it was actually in 2018. I was in a dark place. When I say I was in a dark place, I mean a very bad place. I was battling with my self esteem, my self confidence. I attempted to commit suicide over 20 times. And it was just in the midst of my last time. It wasn't even the last time because I attempted again, but this was the second to last time. I was in my room. I had a knife to my neck and I was like, God, I'm just tired. I'm ready to go. I was like, I'm just going to take my life. And God was like, blossom up. And I was like, what you mean? I was like, I don't know what blossom up mean. He was like, just blossom up. So it's like, God can intervene. And he stopped me from actually slicing my neck and taking my life. And he was like, go outside. So I went outside. I cried tears and I'm like, I'm just tired, God. I'm just tired. I can't take it anymore. He was like, well, why don't you just go ahead and bloom where you have been planted? And I was like, well, what do you mean by that? I don't even know what you mean by that. He was like, this is a time where I want you to go to the courthouse, get your DBA. I didn't even know what the DBA was. I didn't know nothing about business. I was in my early 20s. I was getting ready to graduate with my master's. And I was just like, I ain't finna start no business. I don't even know nothing about business. I'm ready to just go. And he was like, no, you still have purpose. It is all necessary. Blossom up and bloom where you have been planted. So I just stepped out on faith, went to the courthouse, didn't know what I was going to do with Blossom Up, didn't know what it was for. I just was obedient and went to hit my DBA, and it has blossomed from there.
Wow, that is so amazing and so touching and so inspiring because, I know what it's like to be in that dark place. And when you're in that spot, you don't see the other side. You can't even imagine getting out of that spot.
Mm-hmm.
And to be honest, you don't want to. You're okay there because you've accepted, okay, I'm tired. So I can relate to that tiredness feeling. I'm so happy that you tell your story because a lot of people don't understand how real a relationship with God can be. And it don't get no realer than that.
Right.
I mean, it don't get no realer than that, telling you step by step what to do. So did it come naturally to you to tell this story? How long did it take for you to be able to share this with people?
No, it did not come naturally because I was ashamed to tell my story because I didn't want to hurt people. How this all came about really while I was in a dark place is because I was molested at the age of 12. We talk about that in my first book that we talked about on the first show. And that's kind of how I went into my dark place. I lived my life playing the victim role. I stayed in that place. So it caused me to kind of lose my mind. It caused me to really just want to commit suicide so many times. And plus I didn't have the proper people in place behind me saying, you can do it, Krisshundria, you can do it. Or why don't you come out of that dark place? I didn't have people praying for me. The only person I had by my side was my mom. But my mom and I were going through issues. So I still felt like I had no one. I still felt like I was alone. So it didn't come naturally because I didn't want to hurt my mom. I didn't want to hurt my dad talking about, because my stepdad and I are close. I call him my father and we're close. I've forgiven him for what he's done to me. And so I was ashamed of what I went through for once. And then I didn't want to hurt my family. And I didn't want my family to be ashamed to face other people because of me telling my story. But now that we're all healed, I can tell my story and I can tell them what I have talked about in my conferences, on my shows, or wherever I tell my story. They're not ashamed and I'm not ashamed.
Wow. Now, let me just say that's major. So many Black women, and I read a statistic somewhere that said over 90% of Black women have experienced child molestation. That's a very high percentage. And I feel like it might be higher than that because we got to remember the people that didn't report it, the people that didn't say anything. So I can just only commend you because I have been through that myself at a very young age, before kindergarten. And I know how it changes you. It makes you feel all of that shame and guilt. And half the time you don't even know that it's shame and guilt. You just know that you feel bad all the time. You just know that it's a bad feeling and a bad space to be in. So I'm so happy that you talk about it and you express it because there's a lot of people out here who are dealing with it and can't talk about it. So tell us about Blossom Up and what it is that you do with Blossom Up.
I do coaching and counseling, and I do like events. So it'll be like pain events. I just really take it to where I bring teen girls together, I bring young ladies together, or either I bring women together to where we can talk about our stories together. We can do events together. We can really just put like minds together so that we can overcome trauma. My dissertation is actually about myself. I'm getting ready to graduate in August with my doctoral degree.
All right,
And
now
so it's
come
about
on,
my
Dr. James.
it's about myself. And so because I'm healed and I'm able to tell my story, I want other teen girls, young ladies, and women to be able to tell their story. I want them to come to me. So I counsel them, I coach them according to the biblical principles, of course, because you know how many of you know the world can bring you down. They want you to do it a certain way. They don't care about the Bible. They don't care about how God can heal you. They just want to tell you something. They like, get over it. It is what it is. It's life. And so I'm doing it according to the biblical principles where we're coming together and we're talking about it. We're telling our stories and we're overcoming our trauma together by supporting one another instead of judging each other.
Oh, that's powerful. I know that, society likes to keep us divided. Society likes to keep us fighting each other, competing with each other, but we are so much stronger and so much better together. So that is certainly the key, getting us together, because where I might be weak, you're strong. Where you're strong, I might be weak. You know what I'm saying? So we have to do that. Togetherness is really, really big. So what have you learned about yourself and about mental health since you started?
Ooh, that's a big one. that's a big one.
Started Blossom Up.
About myself, I had to truly look in the mirror and identify what was hurting me and what I was not healed from.
Wow.
If I was not able to do it, I could not move forward. I had to truly walk in forgiveness, and not how many know that there's fake forgiveness, there's fake healing. You think you're healed, you think you forgive that person, but truly deep down inside, you ain't really healed. You don't truly forgive that person. You still have that victim mentality. So you have to truly look in the mirror, dig deep inside. And when I say deep, I mean deep inside, and bring out all that bad stuff, that hurt, that bitterness, all that pain that you have on the inside. And you got to face it in the mirror. And it's you against you. And God is right there backing you up. It's you against you. You can't worry about what other people think. I had to learn that I had to truly do that, or I was going to be stuck in that dark place. Because I didn't do it in the first place. That's the reason why I went through that very bad place. That's the reason why I turned to smoking. That's the reason why I turned to drinking. That's the reason why I started being promiscuous, because I didn't want to dig on the inside and really deal with it. I didn't really want to heal. Like I said, that victim mentality, when you stuck there, you can't move forward. You can't accomplish what God wants you to accomplish because you're stuck in that place. But until you dig deep down inside and you truly look in the mirror and you face your healing, your unforgiveness, and whatever it is that you're going through, you can't move where God wants to take you.
Well, I know you just answered the first part of the question, but before we get to the second part of the question, I gotta address that, because you said so much in that little small space, because I think people don't understand. When you talk about doing the work, when people say I've done the work, that's what we're talking about. That right there, digging deep for real, looking inside for real. That is work. That is a journey. Okay. And like you said, it's you versus you, and God is right there. That is so true, because you can't do it without God. It is such a big task. It is so difficult to face the truth sometimes about yourself. When you go on that journey and you get to the other side of that, can't nobody intimidate you, make you feel insecure, none of that. Because it's a journey. It's a battle, and it takes a lot of mental fortitude, and it definitely takes a spiritual walk with God to be able to really heal, like you said, and really forgive. Because you said fake forgiveness is a thing. Listen, it's a real thing, okay? And sometimes you think you forgave somebody till they come in your presence
Woo.
and it's all over again. It's like, oh, it's a spiritual thing. God gotta you that has to be done with God. The Holy Spirit got to help you with that. Because we
Yes.
as humans, it's hard to forgive. In our nature, we want vengeance. In our nature, we want justice. And when something was done to you as a child, you understand that that's not right. And you understand that that's not justice. So in your own mind, you feel like I have a right to hate this person. I have a right not to forgive. But
Mhm.
I'm telling you, it is a journey. That's why I had to speak on that, because I'm still in the journey. Okay, I'm not going to even
Me
act like
too. Me
I'm
too.
still
I
in
ain't
it,
the same as
because I still defend the little girl that's inside of me, the little girl that was victimized, the little girl that was hurt and whose innocence was stolen from her. Every time I look at my baby pictures and my little girl pictures, I get mad all over again. But I allow God to continue to heal me and continue to work through me so that I can let that stuff go. So now I want to get to the second part of the question. What have you learned about mental health since you started Blossom Up?
Ooh, that's a big thing for me because I battle with mental illness and still it's not over. Oh, thank God that I keep God first, but it's still a battle when you go through things. I've learned that number one, you got to keep God first in your life. That's the main thing. You got to talk to Him, but you also have to have people to talk to outside of Him, because you never know when you're going to fall into that dark place. The enemy knows when to slip up. But I must say this, it's not always the enemy. One thing I always speak on is it's sometimes the inner me and the
Yes.
enemy. What I mean by the inner me is that stuff that you have on the inside that you're battling with, and you know you're battling with it, but you don't want to face it. That the emotions, the bad attitude, the bitterness, the hurt, the pain, you got all that on the inside. And then you have the enemy, he's speaking to you on one side. So you're speaking to yourself on one side with all that stuff on the inside. Then the enemy is coming to you and he's speaking all that stuff. So if you don't have nobody to talk to, then all of that is stuck inside of your head while you're battling those two. And then you fall back into that dark place. You're not going to
Yes.
always be in a good place. Like you said, we're human. We are human. So sometimes it comes creeping up. I'm healed, I'm whole, but there are still moments where I still have to call my counselor. I'm not afraid to say I have a counselor, I have a therapist. Yes, I'm a life coach. Yes, I'm a counselor, but I still seek therapy. I still seek counseling because I'm still healing and I still need someone to help me so that I'll be able to help my clients so that I can still be able to move forward. So don't be afraid to seek therapy, to seek counseling, and be able to speak to someone about when you're going through, because you don't, like I tried to commit a suicide over 20 sometimes. You don't want to be in that place. It was
Right.
not a good place at all. You don't
Yeah.
want to be in that stuck in that dark place to where you're so deep in a hole you can't even come out. So talk to someone. If you feel those emotions, talk to yourself in the morning. Speak affirmations over yourself.
Yeah.
I write on my mirror. I write on my mirror. I am beautiful. I'm fearfully
Yeah.
and wonderful made. I can do all things. Write on your mirror. Write the affirmations on the wall. Whatever you got to do to rewire your mind. And know it's not going to be easy. It's going to be weekdays. But always know how to pick yourself back up.
Yes. Amen. Come on now, little preacher. I told y'all she was a powerhouse. Now listen, I just love everything you said because it's so true. And I think that it's wisdom to have a therapist, to have a counselor, because even strong people have our moments. Even people who coach other people have their moments. So I think that's wisdom. And when people tell me they don't have a counselor, especially when they're counseling other people, I'm a little leery of them, because we all need somebody every now and again. And for me, I know that I need somebody. Okay. I suffer also with mental illness, and I didn't really know it was mental illness until I really started doing the work on myself. I have had anxiety, I mean, really bad anxiety, since I was a child, to the point where sometimes I would be up 18, 20 hours a day, maybe get 2 or 3 hours of sleep. That was a lifestyle for me, but I didn't know it was my anxiety. It was all these invasive thoughts and all these irrational fears that would be heading into my mind. Oh, you're gonna get hit by a car, or somebody gonna rape you, or you're gonna get molested, or you're gonna get murdered. It just was weird. All this craziness all throughout the day. I just never had any peace. I didn't realize that was a mental illness. I didn't realize that I was suffering. And so for me, I turned to self-medication like everybody else. You know, I would do edibles, honey. I would say, well, I don't smoke weed. I don't, you know, but I'll do these edibles now. And the edibles had me good. I be calm. I don't have no thoughts, no weird thoughts or any of that. And I felt justified in it. But for me, and I'm not knocking anybody who uses any substance, because whatever you need to do to manage your mental health, do that. But for me, I didn't like the dependency aspect of it. I didn't like the fact that I needed the edibles to make it through a day. So I began to lean and trust on God more and more and more. It made my spiritual relationship with God much stronger. And I learned through that I can conquer anxiety, but I do have to be aware of it, and I have to be on top of it, like you said. And I have my good days, I have my bad days. I thank God that I don't have to self-medicate, and so far, so good. So far, so good. So I wanted to talk about mental health awareness, because in the Black community, a lot of people suffer from mental health, mental illness, like so many undiagnosed disorders are in the Black community, especially in church. You know, there's a lot of people suffering. How do you feel about that? And how do we remove the stigma to a point where people will seek help?
You know, one thing I noticed with small churches and big churches, small churches, even though it's small, sometimes the pastor is not there for their members. And big churches, it's kind of like, let me come in and teach the word and get out of here. And what I've learned is that pastors need to be there for their members, or you need to have people in place that are there for your members, because you don't know what your members are going through. They come in, they're encouraged. Yes, they're getting the word, but sometimes that word doesn't stick to them. So you need to reach out to your members, or have a team that can reach out to your members, a prayer team. If they're asking for prayer, then reach out to them, actually pray for them, and then call in to check on them. My church does that. I thank God for my church. They'll call and check on me. Where you been? You know, I work with the teens. So they're like, where you been? Why you ain't been here? You know, they'll call and check on me, because I have my days where I'm like, I'm not good enough right now to work with the teens, because I got to get me together. I have to get it together before I can teach the teens, before I can coach them. So they'll call and check on me. And people that don't do that, pastors that don't do that, I feel that's why members fall off. And then you'll hear members say, it was the church that made me like this. It was the church the reason why I turned to the world. Or you got people worshiping the universe. I'm worshiping the universe because it was I'm church hurt. And so if you actually reach out to your members and, you know, see where their mindset, you can't do every member. That's why I say have a team, you know, especially with the teenagers, especially the teenagers, they'll tell you, I'm going through and I don't know how to deal with it. That's the main part. It starts with them as a team. See what they're going through and see, because as they get older, then you'll know where their minds are. And then you won't have to worry about them saying I'm being church hurt when they're grown.
Absolutely. Well, shout out your church, first of all, because if they doing it right, we want people to know about the churches that's doing it right.
That's right.
So shout out to church.
Word of Restoration International Church in Rocheron.
All right, Word of Restoration. Yeah, shout out your church, girl. Represent your church. You say your church do it right. We want to big up the churches that do it right. Something that you said also, I want to piggyback on that, because I think that sometimes people aren't necessarily qualified to handle every issue of every member, and that's okay. But I feel personally that churches need to get more comfortable allowing mental health professionals to be involved in some programs and some activities in the church. Now, they don't have to speak on your spiritual life, but they can help you with your mental health. It's no different from a doctor coming in talking about high blood pressure. It's the same thing. I think that the church has to get more comfortable allowing mental health professionals to be a part of the ministry team. It's needed. It is so needed. Now, about the stigma, Black people don't like folks in our business. So first of all, that's one of the main reasons why Black people don't go to counselors, because we don't trust nobody. We don't like people in our business. We don't believe in confidentiality, because half the time we can't keep nothing ourselves. So we sure think you ain't gonna keep it. So, so how do we help Black people to get past the trust issues that we have with speaking to somebody about our mental health?
I see a lot of support groups that help people that do not want to tell their business. A lot of people start to open up when they join like confidence programs. I know with me, I'm gonna speak for myself. I wasn't the person to talk about what went on in my home because I was told not to. Our business is our business. Whatever goes on in our house stays in our house. And it wasn't until I actually joined a program and I heard people being transparent and telling their stories. And I was kind of like, okay, well, let me tell it piece by piece, but not the whole thing. And then I started joining more support groups where there was women that encouraged me. And then that's when I was able to really, really tell my story. So if it's like something you can start with, maybe like you said, bring in the trained mental health professionals and maybe they can start the programs or the support groups to kind of get them to open up. They ain't got to tell their whole story, but just talking to them and telling them their experience and being transparent. That's kind of how you get people to open up. When they see you being authentic, and when I hope I said that word right. Well, I'm about to be a doctor and still struggling, y'all. Still struggling.
All right, you said it right. That's all.
That's that countriness in me. But when I see people being transparent, I open up. So I'm thinking that maybe if they have like more programs, more support groups, and then people will start to tell their stories, or they would feel a little comfortable, because in church they don't really. People come, they get the word and leave, unless you got a friend or two there. But if they are able to have programs or something to help them open up, then maybe they'll be able to tell more of their story, and then eventually more will come out.
I agree with that. I agree 100%. So if you are listening or watching, even if you're listening to this on the replay and you want to seek help, but you're not ready to talk one-on-one, look for a support group. There's even virtual groups out there where you may not even have to be seen. Someone can just listen to you. I think that in this day and age, there is something for you. So don't feel alone. Whatever you do, don't isolate yourself. Look for a support group. I think that is really great advice, and that's a good place to start. So tell us a little bit about your books and how people can find your books and what inspired you to become an author.
My books are on KrisshundriaJames.com or BlossomUpLLC.com. The very first book tells my story about me being molested, the dark place I was in, and all the trouble that I went through while in my dark place after being molested, and even as a young adult. But it was very, very detailed. So I'm going to actually edit that a little bit and put it back out there. It's called Broken Pieces Still Blossom, Exiting Pain, Entering Victory. You can be a broken piece, but you still can blossom. You don't have to stay broken. So that's why I named it that. You go from pain to victory. So that is why I came up with that title. And then I Feel Beautiful and Kicking Down the Fence. They have a book and a workbook that feeds off those books. So it gives the keys and the concepts to how I built my self-confidence and how I learned to set my standards and boundaries. Because I was molested, I didn't have standards or boundaries. I struggled with it. I struggled with that badly. And it wasn't until this year I learned to put my foot down and learn who I was and whose I was. And I started setting my standards and boundaries because I got tired. I got tired of repeating the same test over and over when it came to friends, when it came to family. And I just couldn't do it no more. I had to go back and read my own book, Kicking Down the Fence and Setting Standards and Boundaries. So if
Yes.
you got trouble setting your standards and boundaries, you might want to read that book. If you don't feel beautiful or you struggling with your self-confidence, go ahead and check out I Feel Beautiful, because it gives you the keys to help you build your self-confidence and your self-esteem. And then I have Unveiled Transparency, where I'm actually the co-author in, and it tells the story about my dark place. Every little piece of how I struggled when I was in that dark place. It's a chapter. And so you're able to actually hear more of my story in there. A little glimpse of kind of broken pieces still blossom.
Wow, that is a lot. You said a lot. Oh my God. This is what I'm talking about when I say powerhouse, because she has so much inside of her. And she just lets it out like it ain't nothing. Like she just talking like it's regular talk, but this is wisdom. This is big stuff, because setting standards and boundaries is a struggle, whether you've been molested or not. But when you have experienced any type of sexual assault, especially as a child, that is a huge issue for you, period. It doesn't matter what age you get to, you constantly got to reevaluate your standards and your boundaries. That is so big, Krisshundria. I was on the other end of the spectrum because I experienced being molested at a very young age. My standards was ridiculous and unrealistic, and my boundaries were ridiculous, to the point where don't touch me, don't look at me, who is you, why are you looking at me? You know, it was over the top, you know? So I got to a point where I had to realize, well, you ain't really got no friends. Why? Because it's like, oh, what you want to come over my house for? What you want to talk to me for? What you want on my business for? You know, my boundaries was out of control. I had a wall built up with a fence and a gate and some barbed wire. Honey, you wasn't getting past my defenses.
Right.
And that's overkill. So, you know, that's also a problem, because in this, it's in an imbalance. It's an imbalance. And so where it seemed like I was protecting myself, I was actually hurting myself, because the boundaries and the standards were still improper. And, you know, I'm 50 years old. It took me a long time to learn that, very long time. You know, I just learned that in 2020 because we was stuck in the house and I had to deal with myself at that point. You know, it wasn't no going out and being distracted by entertainment. It was you stuck in the house. So I had to really figure me out. And I learned that. And so I think it's so amazing that you put that in a book, because, you know, people struggle with that. People struggle with boundaries with family members, especially if you've been molested by a family member. You either don't have no boundaries, or your boundaries, like mine was, over the top. I mean, over the top. You couldn't even, what? If you come to my house and I don't know you coming, baby, you'll be outside. I don't care who he is. Mama, daddy, sister, brother, all y'all. And they used to say, something really wrong with her. And it was. It was something really wrong with me, because my boundaries, I felt like, had been violated. So in response to that, I overdid it. And I just built these crazy boundaries and crazy expectations of people that nobody could live up to. So I think that is a really good point that you bring out, because a lot of people struggle with that. A lot of people, that's why people don't have healthy relationships, because they don't know how to establish proper boundaries and even proper expectations of each other. So that is really huge, Krisshundria, and I'm so glad that you shared that with us. So we're getting close to the end of our interview. So I want to give you an opportunity to tell us where they can find you on social media, where they can support Blossom Up, any events you might have coming up, or speaking engagements that you might be doing.
All of my social medias are Krisshundria James and Blossom Up LLC. I am actually done for the year, because I am, as far as events, because I'm preparing for graduation in August, and I just plan to relax and travel and start fresh next year. And I'll keep y'all posted on the event for next year. I'm still planning, but as for now, I got to take care of me, my mental health. And, you know, you said something about mental health. You know, you should always, I just thought about this, check out your family history. Because sometimes it's your family history that you don't know about. And you wondering why you feeling the way you feeling or going through what you're going through. And sometimes it's passed down, even though, they say, oh, well, you can break the stigma. Yes, you can, but you still want to know your family history.
Yes, and that is so 100% true. The sad part is a lot of the generations before us did not talk about this kind of stuff. So, yes, they experience mental health issues, and yes, they have anxiety, depression, bipolar disorder, all these things that people are experiencing. Nobody talked about it back then. And sometimes still people don't talk about it. But I think that is a really good point. Know your family history. I personally know that my family has a lot of mental health issues on both sides of my family. I know that for a fact. Everybody in the family know it. We have evidence of it. But the problem is it's not talked about and it's not discussed, because I think somehow we all still feel kind of ashamed. But that's the reason why I feel like it's important to have these conversations so that we don't feel ashamed. We're human beings, and anytime you have a mind, of course your mind going to be affected by your environment, by trauma you may experience, by past history in your family. So you're going to have some mental health issues. So I think that is a really, really good point that you brought up. Talk to your family, y'all. Talk to your family members. Learn your history, your family history. We do it when it comes to our physical health. So we definitely need to do it when it comes to our mental health.
That's right.
That's all I'm saying. And also, I'm so glad you brought that up, because I wanted to speak on young people in mental health really briefly, because you deal with teens. Let's talk about some changes that you may have seen. I know I have seen, even in my own children, that I have to be very mindful of since the pandemic. We are seeing a lot of young people experiencing mental health issues. What can you say? How can you speak to that?
I think because of the pandemic, they're kind of boxed in. They've turned away from their parents and they're leaning on their friends, and their friends can't really help them because they're not as experienced. But talk to your children. Don't be hard on them. Allow them to open up and express how they're feeling, because when you're hard on them and they tell you how they feel, they're going to continue to shut down. And that was me as a child. So don't be hard on them. Allow them to open up to you if it's about sex, whatever it is. Allow them to open up and tell you, because during this time it's very hard for them. They're dealing with a lot at school, they're dealing with a lot at home, or they're dealing with a lot of friendships, whatever. Just let them open up to you. And if they're opening up to other people, don't be jealous. Allow them to open up to those people.
Yeah.
Allow them to open up to whoever it is that they're opening up to. Because it could be a moment where they're like, I'm tired, I can't take it, and boom, there it is, they're gone. So let them open up to whoever it is they're willing to open up to. Talk to whoever it is that they're willing to talk to, because I'm seeing a change in their mindset. I'm seeing the change when they're talking to people that they're willing to talk to. I'm seeing the changes in their attitudes and their actions when they're able to be free and just be themselves versus you judging them. Parents, don't judge your children.
That's really good. What you said about don't be jealous if they talk to someone else. I think our initial reaction is, why they don't want to talk to me? Don't they know I love them? But I think it is a big point that you make. Just whoever they can talk to, as long as the person can be trusted and won't harm them, let that be. Let it be, because sometimes we too close to them. I had to learn that with my own, especially my oldest. Sometimes we're so close to them, they don't feel like we really see them like for who they really are, because it's hard for a parent, because we still see I know I do. I still see my baby, the one I brought home from the hospital, even though he over 6 feet tall and bigger than me. But when I look at him, I literally still see a baby. And that is just how we are sometimes as mothers. It's a hard transition to seeing them as a man. So they're going to need someone else to talk to, because even in the midst of all their conversation, I'm still thinking, oh, my baby. And they got grown-up problems. They don't want you looking at them like, oh, my baby. So I really appreciate that you said that. And I hope parents, I hope that you're listening, and I hope that you will take this advice. We have to remove the judgment from our children and just be there to help them. and be open to them talking to someone else. I want to thank you so much for being on the show. We didn't get to talk about social media in relation to mental health because that's big too. But I want to encourage people to follow you on and listen, give your TikTok, because y'all got to follow her on TikTok, honey. Because anytime I need a uplift or just to feel better, I go to Krisshundria. She doing some kind of dance. She doing some kind. Listen, I love it. It just lifts my spirit. So give your TikTok name. We want to follow you on TikTok too.
My TikTok is Blossom Up.
Y'all go to Blossom Up on TikTok. Trust me, you will not regret it. She gonna lift your spirits, honey. Your confidence is infectious. Your smile is amazing and lights up a room. So I just want to encourage you to keep doing what you're doing. You know I love you. Even though we don't see each other as much, you're still my sister. I done adopted you and claimed you, so oh well. You got some other sisters. Just let them know. I'm the one that you don't see that much, but I'm still in the family. Okay.
Sure is.
So thank you for being a guest on the show. You guys, thank you for tuning in. I have a brand new segment that I'm going to bring up right after we go to this quick break. You can hang out with me, Krisshundria, if you want to. You guys don't go anywhere. Thanks to my special guest, Krisshundria James, and we'll be right back with my new segment. You guys don't go nowhere. We'll be right back.
Hey, it's your girl, Lisa Denae. Check out what I did with this amazing two-piece set from the Dorcas collection by B. Moore. For look number 1, I pulled the skirt up as a dress and paired it with a denim top. The best part is it has pockets. For look number 2, if you want to be sexy and show a little skin, you can wear the top as a crop top. Okay, girl, I see you. You did that. For look number 3, if you don't want to show any skin, pull the skirt all the way up to the waist, and it appears to be a one-piece. For look number 4, the grand finale, if you want to dress it all the way up, you can wear the top with an evening gown. Go on and put a crown on your head, boo. Welcome to Lisa Denae's Gas Station, or we gassing you up. It's your weekly destination for affirmations. Oh, you the bomb, boo. You ain't know?
Hey, you guys, it's your girl, Lisa Denae. Welcome to my brand new segment. It's Lisa Denae's Gas Station, baby. That's one of my things I love to do is gas people up. And when I gas you up, it ain't fake gas. It's real gas. It's gas that's going to put in your tank and keep you going to your next destination. So today I want to gas you up. I want to boost you up. I want to push you up and affirm you in the area of wealth. Because I want to talk to you guys and let you know that you are worthy of wealth. We have been taught since we were young that rich people are people who work hard, or rich people are people who are talented, basketball players, pastors, musicians, actors, rappers. But I want to let you know wealth is there for you too. You are worthy of it. You deserve it, whether you work hard or not. It's your birthright. You're not supposed to be in poverty. That's a curse and that's a lie. So I want you to just embrace the idea of wealth and affluence. I want you to embrace the idea of having all your needs met. You are worthy of it. You are worthy to have more than enough. You're worthy to have 6, 7 figures in the bank. You're worthy to have all your bills paid and then some. And you're worthy of being able to help somebody else. You are not meant to be in poverty. You are not meant to be broke, and you're not meant to go without. So if you're going without anything today, understand that that's not your purpose and that's not your path. You got to dig deep. Talk to your creator. He will give you the power to get wealth. That's in the word. Wealth belongs to you. You're deserving of it. You're worthy of it. And it's your birthright. I hope that you have enjoyed this little segment of the gas station. And baby, let me tell you, come on back and listen to it again when you're in them broke moments or when you feel like you don't have enough, because I'm going to gas you up and I'm going to let you know you're worthy of wealth. Money comes to you freely. Money flows freely. But please understand, when it flows freely, you got to give it freely as well. Don't be too attached to it, because when you hold on to it too tight, you stop the flow of money. Okay. So when you give, you can get more. When you give, the Bible says it's more blessed to give than receive. And I know a lot of y'all don't believe that, but trust me, it's a flow. It's a flow. So the more you give, the more you receive, and the more you receive, the more you can give. You are worthy of wealth. And I hope you enjoyed this very first installment of the gas station. Come back, baby, when you need to be gassed up. We're going to take a real quick break, and we'll be right back with the wrap up with my special guest, Krisshundria James.
Introducing Stunner Magazine, a lifestyle publication and companion to Stunner Radio's weekly broadcasts. Stunner Magazine features positive images of the Black community and inspiring stories to uplift and entertain. With our Artist Spotlight and Stunner of the Month, we strive to introduce you to the most intriguing rising stars in music, fashion, and beauty. Check out our May edition, available now exclusively on Issue.
All right, we're back, you guys. I want to thank my special guest, Krisshundria James, once again, and tell us your social media one more time and your website so that people can get your books and support your mission.
All of my social medias are Krisshundria James and Blossom Up LLC. My website is KrisshundriaJames.com and BlossomUpLLC.com. It's the exact same website. So don't feel weird whenever it takes you to KrisshundriaJames.com from the BlossomUpLLC.com link. It's the same website. And my TikTok. You want to be uplifted? You want to laugh? And sometimes you might hear me act a little crazy with my singing. It's in there just a little bit when I go on my cruises. Go on and follow me on TikTok, Blossom Up.
Yes, follow her, y'all. You know, I love TikTok for that very reason. It's a lot of uplifting. It's some other stuff too, but it's a lot of uplifting people on there. And I love your confidence. Now I'm going to give you some affirmations because you are so the bomb, okay? I know I'm old for saying the bomb, but believe me, I'm going to say it till I can't say it no more. I like it. But you are the bomb, boo. You got it going on. You are so confident and so beautiful. And the thing is, you're very knowledgeable. When I talk to you, I realize how knowledgeable you are. So I cannot wait till I can say, this my sis, Dr. Krisshundria James. Okay. I'm so excited for you. I'm so excited for you. Thank you so much once again for being on the show. And thank you guys so much for tuning in. Please join us tomorrow on Stunner Radio for Black Coffee with a Side of Tea at 7:00 p.m. Central Time. And be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel at Stunner Radio and add us on Spotify to your playlist. We have all of our shows are on Spotify under Stunner Radio, as well as iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, and Google Podcasts. So thank you so much for tuning in with us. I hope and pray that you all will have an amazing week. And remember, May is Mental Health Awareness Month. Reach out to those that may be struggling. And if you don't understand a mental health condition, seek some help, seek guidance, seek information. There's so much information out there about mental health right now. You can Google just about anything and find a resource on any disorder that somebody you know may be struggling with. I think the scary part is when you get a diagnosis, a mental health diagnosis, it's kind of scary because you don't know what it means. And maybe your family or friends or loved ones don't know how to deal with it. So I am encouraging everyone, in honor of Mental Health Awareness Month, please, let's try to get past the stigma of, I don't want nobody to think I'm crazy, because we all got a little crazy in us. We all got a little mental health issues going on. Okay, everybody do. So let's just love each other, be kind to each other. And until next time, I will be praying for you and wishing the best for you. And remember, you're worthy. See you next time.
I hate you, but I love you at the same damn time. Hey, it's your girl Lisa Denae, and you're listening to my single Love Hate, available now on all music platforms.